Golden State Warriors News Today channel. Take the opportunity to leave that like and subscribe to the channel. Let's go to today's news.
When an explosive talent like Kuminga is kept out of the rotation for more than 30 games, even while healthy, the question echoing behind the scenes in San Francisco is no longer whether there is a hidden plan, but what that plan actually is. Jonathan Kuminga was supposed to be the face of the new generation of the Warriors. Drafted as the symbolic successor to the Curry-Thompson-Green era, he arrived bearing the weight of keeping a dynasty alive while it aged gracefully. But in 2025, something feels off. In a season with flashes of brilliance, 20 points here, a dominant game there, Kuminga was paradoxically sidelined. And that doesn't feel like an accident. On the surface, the stats tell a quiet story. But when you look at how often he vanished from the rotation, even when fully available, the narrative changes completely. Is this technical neglect? Or a hidden strategy? And that's when the board is revealed, Giannis Antetokounmpo. While the Bucks crumble following Damian Lillard's devastating injury, a new storm is starting to form. Giannis, in his prime, faces a 2026 without playoffs ahead. And everyone knows he has no time to waste. Rumors have erupted like sparks in barrels of gunpowder, and one in particular stood out, a trade between the Warriors and Bucks, with Kuminga at the center of the proposal. Yes, the young player who has been so often overlooked on the court could ironically be the key to landing the most dominant player in the league. But this isn't just about Giannis. It's about Stephen Curry's legacy, still playing at MVP level, but carrying an increasingly tired roster. With Klay gone and Draymond fighting against time, what remains is urgency. And urgency comes at a high cost. The suggested proposal? An avalanche of assets: Kuminga, Moody, Podziemski, Draymond, Quinton Post, and a storm of draft picks through 2031. A win or die move that might sound insane or genius. And this is the point where you, the fan, need to reflect. Are we facing a real chance to rebuild a new dynasty, with Giannis and Curry forming a historic duo, or risking burying the team's future on one last gamble? If this trade happens, it won't just be the end of an era. It will be the birth of another. One that could return the Warriors to the top, or leave them broken until the end of the decade. Now we want to hear from you. If you were Mike Dunleavy Jr., would you go all in on this trade for Giannis? Or would you keep the young core to try building something more long-lasting? Leave your opinion in the comments. And of course, if you enjoy in-depth analysis like this with behind-the-scenes insight, strategy, and fan perspective, subscribe now to the Warriors News Fan Update channel. Turn on the bell and share this video with those who live and breathe the NBA. Because here, we don't just report news. We tell the story behind every decision. But perhaps the most disturbing part isn't what we know, but what we don't. Because while the Warriors are still alive in the playoffs against the Rockets, winning key games at Chase Center, the real game is unfolding far from the cameras. In closed-door meetings. In silent conversations between executives. In the dilemma of choosing between two paths with no return. On one side, we have an aging roster, a Curry who still defies time but can't do it all alone, and a group of young players showing flashes but not yet delivering consistency. On the other, we have Giannis, a physical beast, a leader, an MVP who can turn any defense into a wall and any offense into a nightmare for opponents. But the real question is, do the Warriors have the courage to abandon everything they've built, even the Warriors model itself, to take this radical leap? Because this isn't just about numbers. It's about identity, legacy, and time. Time that Curry no longer has in abundance. Giannis in Golden State would be a spectacle. Transition plays with him running free, shooters like Steph, Buddy Hield, and maybe Gary Payton too spread around him, and a completely devastating offensive system. But is that enough to justify losing Draymond, the emotional brain of the franchise? Do Podziemski and Kuminga, both with all-star potential, really deserve to be sacrificed so early? And more. What happens if Giannis doesn't re-sign in 2 years? If the championships don't come? If the traded picks turn into stars on other teams? The risk is real. But so is the chance for glory. Warriors News Fan Update will continue to follow every behind-the-scenes detail, every rumor, every decision that could rewrite the franchise's history. And we'll keep you updated with depth, opinion, and passion. Leave your comment. Would you trade it all for Giannis? Or do you believe Kuminga and the young core are the path to the future? And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to the Warriors News Fan Update channel. Here, analysis goes beyond the surface. Here, the narrative lives. Turn on the bell so you don't miss the next episodes, and share this video with other NBA fans who see the game beyond the four lines. Because the NBA doesn't stop, and neither do we. And while the debate over Kuminga and Giannis sets Warriors fans on fire, something even more intriguing is brewing in the East. The early fall of the Milwaukee Bucks not only created cracks in Giannis's confidence, it also ignited a silent race behind the scenes of the NBA. And one name is emerging as a direct threat to any attempt by the Warriors to land the Greek star, the Miami Heat. Yes, Pat Riley's franchise, known for its aggressiveness and ability to attract big names, is making moves. Jimmy Butler has already shown signs of frustration with the lack of competitiveness in the roster, and internal sources say Miami could go all in for Giannis, offering a bold package centered around Tyler Herro, Nikola Jovic, and multiple first-round picks. If that happens, the Warriors won't just be negotiating with the Bucks. They'll be competing with one of the league's most influential and well-connected franchises, one with a history of turning stars into champions fast. In other words, if Mike Dunleavy Jr. truly wants to bring Giannis to San Francisco, he'll need to act fast. And more than that, he'll need to convince the Bucks that Kuminga, Moody, and the young talents on the roster are worth the price of an entire rebuild. And that brings up the final question that could change everything. What if everything we've seen this season, Kuminga's absences, Moody's reduced minutes, the patience with Podziemski, has been part of a meticulous plan to keep these players healthy, valuable, and ready for a trade of this magnitude? Nothing about the Warriors' behavior this season has been accidental. Every silence might have been a strategic move. Every absence, an asset protection. And what if the final move has already been written, just waiting for the right moment to be revealed? Get ready, because in the next episode here on Warriors News Fan Update, we'll reveal how Damian Lillard's injury may have triggered an Eastern Conference collapse and how it could lead to a historic bidding war between the Warriors and Heat for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Turn on the bell now, so you don't miss the next video. Leave your comment. Do you believe the Warriors are hiding their cards? Or is this all just coincidence? And share this video with that friend who lives and breathes the NBA like you, with intensity, with strategy, with heart. Because here on Warriors News Fan Update, we don't just talk basketball. We live the story behind the game. As a Warriors fan, I confess this dilemma hits me deeply. Jonathan Kuminga represents hope. He's not just a promising young player, he carries the weight of continuing an era that redefined modern basketball. And seeing him underused, ignored in big games, leaves us with that bitter feeling of waste. But at the same time, when the name Giannis Antetokounmpo comes up, everything shakes. We're talking about one of the most dominant players in recent league history. He's the perfect storm: strength, skill, leadership, and hunger for titles. Seeing Giannis playing alongside Stephen Curry would be more than spectacular. It would be historic. It might be the only real way to guarantee one more ring before the curtain closes for this dynasty. And that's where my heart splits. On one side, love for the future, for Kuminga, Podziemski, Moody, guys who can and maybe will become stars. On the other, the chance to see Curry end his career with greatness, leading once again a team that commands respect, that intimidates, that dreams big. If it were just emotion, I'd keep Kuminga. But thinking as a fan who wants to see Steph with one more trophy before saying goodbye, I say yes. I'd hit the trade button. Because sometimes, to write the most epic chapter of history, we must have the courage to turn the page before the last line. And that's exactly the weight of the decision ahead. Because for us Warriors fans, this isn't just a trade. It's not just about stats, contract, or assets. It's about what we've built together over the years. It's about every unforgettable Curry game, every magical night at Chase Center, every season where we believe until the end, even when the world said it was over. It's about the feeling of watching a kid like Kuminga take the court and thinking, this could be the next big name. It's about hope. But it's also about urgency. Because time, that silent enemy, doesn't stop. And Steph, as legendary as he is, won't play forever. So now here we are, caught between love for what we've built and the courage to risk everything for one last title. Giannis isn't just a star, he's a declaration of war against time. A real chance to bring championship shine back to Golden State, not in the past, but in the present. Maybe history will judge us. Maybe the future will demand answers. But if there's one franchise born to defy logic and rewrite the game, it's the Golden State Warriors. And if the next dynasty can be born from the meeting of the greatest shooter in history and the most dominant warrior of today, then maybe, just maybe, it's worth it. And you, fan, if you were in Mike Dunleavy Jr.'s place, would you have the courage to pull the trigger? Or do you believe more in Kuminga, Moody, and the strength of our future? Comment below. Every opinion counts because this channel is also made by fans like you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is the moment. This is Warriors News Fan Update, where emotion meets analysis and the heart beats to the rhythm of the NBA. Turn on notifications, share with your friends, and stay with us, because the next big turning point in Warriors history might be closer than you think.